Turn to Sudan now, and the civil disobedience group known as the Sudanese Resistance Committees says over 100 people were killed in two attacks by the paramilitary rapid support forces in a village in Jazeera state. The group says it's still waiting for the final number of dead and injured, including information on their identities. The Sudanese Resistance Committees has called the attack on Tuesday a massacre. It says the RSF fighters looted the village and that many women and children fled the area. Meanwhile, there's been renewed fighting between Sudan's army and the rapid support forces in the western city of al-Fasher. Both sides are using heavy weapons and artillery. Fighting in that region began in mid-May. The city serves as a hub for humanitarian operations. The RSF fighters and the army have been at war since April of last year. Let's get more on this with el-Bashir Idris. He's a Sudanese analyst and activist. He joins us now live from Cardiff. Thank you so much for your time. So let's start with this attack in Jazeera state. What exactly happened there?
Well, an attack happened in a village called Nora, where over 100 people have died. So far, 29 names have been confirmed. However, this attack by the Rapid Support Forces happened on the 4th of June, just 2 days ago. However, it was only yesterday that it became into the mainstream media or the rest of the news. That is due to the telecommunications blackout. Now, it's important that al-Jazirah is considered the agricultural heartland of Sudan. This is the place where the country's food and agricultural output comes from. This part of the country has been under attack since December of just last year. So it's been under siege for 6 whole months. This attack we've seen yesterday is just another part of that attack on the villagers and the citizens and civilians who are within that area. It's been supposedly reported that the RSF came to the village asking, or rather forcibly wanting to loot. However, the civilians first did not let them. This then resulted with the rapid support forces returning to the village, massacring the many people that we've seen today.
And why this particular area? What was the motivation behind it?
Well, it's a strategic area, as it could go along with the oil pipelines and nearby with that, but also it's to cause more terror within the civilian population. Let's not forget that the Sudanese belligerents are supposed to have the Jeddah negotiations. However, these negotiations have been used in tandem with strikes and raids on particular cities by the rapid support forces. We've seen this in December with the way the rapid support forces wanted to hold negotiations in Jeddah whilst invading with Madani al-Jazirah at the same time. And we're seeing that again in el-Fasher, over in Darfur, where the rapid support forces are sieging the city. However, they're also using the opportunity to call for negotiations whilst they have the upper hand. So they're doing this in tandem with that.
Right.
But however, because of the results we've seen, we don't believe that Sudanese armed forces will go to that negotiating table,
right.
Especially after yesterday.
And just briefly, I mean, the war has been going on now just over a year between the RSF fighters and the army, who both won control of Sudan. How do you see this coming to an end at any point?
Well, nobody really does see it coming to a point anytime soon. There's too many factors involved between those internally within the country, but also externally. However, it is imperative that it really comes to an end, because it's now reached to a point where human-on-human violence is kind of minuscule compared to the environmental damage that this war has done. As we've said, there is a looming famine. However, a few weeks ago, there's been damage onto an oil refinery that can bring acid rain. And furthermore, we have earthquake-prone areas around dams that could collapse and can cause a similar scenario to Libya last year. So what we're looking at here is a real multi-layered big problem, you could say, or catastrophic problem at this case. I
appreciate your analysis, el-Bashir Idris, Sudanese analyst and activist, speaking to us there from Cardiff.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.